What if I told you that everything you thought you knew about Summerslam 2025 is about to be flipped on its head? That the biggest party of the summer could become the single most shocking event in WWE history? That what seems like a tragic injury, a sideline superstar, and a stable in disarray might actually be a smokescreen for one of the most cunning plots ever devised? The kind of plot that redefines careers, breaks alliances, builds legacies, and leaves fans in disbelief. What if the man everyone thought was injured beyond return isn't hurt at all? What if Seth Rollins, the architect of chaos, is lying in wait, playing the ultimate game of deception? And what if he's not planning his return alone? Buckle in, because the mystery surrounding Seth Rollins' reported injury, Paul Heyman's unsettling silence, and The Rock's conspicuous absence from the WWE landscape might all be connected in a plan that will detonate at SummerSlam 2025 and echo all the way to WrestleMania 42. Let's start with the incident that kicked this all off. At Saturday night's main event, Seth Rollins, then riding high as the 2025 Mr. Money in the Bank and the driving force behind a vicious new heel faction, took on LA Knight in what was supposed to be a show-stealing contest. Halfway through the match, Rollins attempted a moonsault, and in a moment that left the audience frozen, he landed awkwardly and collapsed to the mat, clutching his knee. Trainers, referees, and Paul Heyman all rushed to his side. The broadcast team played it serious. Dirt sheets like Fightful and Wrestling Observer immediately reported that Rollins might have suffered a torn ACL or MCL, an injury that could bench him for the rest of the year. Suddenly, the face of Heyman's faction, the one being built around Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, was gone. Or was he? In pro wrestling, injuries can be legitimate, but they can also be illusions used to heighten drama and set the stage for unforgettable returns. From CM Punk's retirement teases to Triple H's miraculous recoveries, WWE has always blurred the lines between fiction and reality. Could Rollins' injury be the latest masterstroke of misdirection? Let's examine the signs. First, there's been no official medical update from WWE. Only vague rumors, hushed silence from Heyman, and an absence of Rollins from television. Second, Rollins' social media posts have become cryptic, filled with quotes about timing, betrayal, and rebirth. Third, Heyman, who usually can't resist adding his voice to any situation involving his clients, has stayed suspiciously quiet.
Why?
Maybe because something huge is about to unfold. Which brings us to SummerSlam 2025. This year's edition is a two-night spectacle, a massive turning point for WWE, and the perfect battleground for something monumental. One of the biggest scheduled matches is CM Punk versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk, now in a full-blown redemption arc, is chasing the title that has eluded him since his return. Gunther, the ring general, is on a historic run, demolishing opponents with ruthless efficiency. It's a dream match, but it could also be a trap. Here's the theory gaining steam online and whispered through locker room corridors. Seth Rollins is going to return at SummerSlam, but he won't come back alone. As Punk and Gunther battle in the main event of Night 1, just as Punk is about to finally win, the lights will dim, the crowd will roar, and the familiar sound of Rollins' theme will echo through the arena. He'll appear on the ramp, limping, clutching the Money in the Bank briefcase, selling the knee injury that supposedly took him out. But before he can reach the ring, the Titantron flashes again. The Rock's music hits. The crowd loses its collective mind as the final boss himself steps onto the stage, alongside Paul Heyman. What happens next changes everything. Rollins and The Rock, with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in tow, storm the ring. They annihilate both Gunther and Punk in a brutal, calculated assault. Rollins cashes in his contract, pins Gunther, and captures the World Heavyweight Championship. Then, as Rollins raises the title, The Rock lifts his arm, revealing to the world that he has been the puppet master all along, using Heyman, using Rollins, and building a faction destined to dominate WWE for years to come. This twist would send shockwaves throughout the wrestling world. But why would The Rock do this? Why would the People's Champion return to align with Heyman and Rollins? The answer lies in unfinished business. At WrestleMania 40, The Rock attempted to insert himself into the Bloodline saga, stealing the spotlight and turning heel in the process. Fans rejected his role, chanting for Cody Rhodes, booing his interference, and calling for his downfall. The Rock thrives on reaction. He feeds on narrative. And nothing fuels a villain more than unfinished vengeance. Aligning with Rollins gives him the perfect opportunity to reshape the story on his terms. The Rock has history with Heyman, and Rollins has history with everyone. Together, they form the nucleus of a new era of manipulation and dominance. Add Braun Breaker's raw power and Bronson Reed's monstrous presence, and you have a faction that could rival anything we've seen since the Shield or Evolution. The betrayal wouldn't just crush Gunther's reign. It would devastate CM Punk's journey. Punk, who has clawed his way back into contention, would be robbed in front of millions, igniting a feud with Rollins that drags us through to WrestleMania 42. And if you think The Rock won't use this moment to reignite his rivalry with Roman Reigns, think again. It's the perfect storm. Two parallel feuds. Rollins versus Punk for the title. The Rock versus Roman Reigns in a blood-soaked war of pride, power, and family. WrestleMania 42 would be unlike anything we've seen. So what does this all mean? If this theory plays out, it achieves everything. It reestablishes Seth Rollins as the diabolical architect we've long missed. It makes The Rock a full-blown antagonist with purpose. It gives Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed the spotlight. It breaks the hearts of fans rooting for Punk's redemption and fuels his anger toward Rollins. It also brings clarity to Paul Heyman's recent silence. He's been hiding the truth because he's been orchestrating the greatest heist since Rollins stole the show at WrestleMania 31. And yet, despite all the pieces fitting so perfectly, none of this is guaranteed. WWE thrives on misdirection. Maybe Rollins truly is injured. Maybe The Rock's Hollywood schedule keeps him away. Maybe another wild card, like Cody Rhodes or even Randy Orton, disrupts the entire plan. But for now, the silence, the cryptic clues, the strategic absence, they all suggest something massive is about to go down. SummerSlam 2025 may not just be a big event. It could be the beginning of an era. An era controlled by a faction unlike any before. An era defined by betrayal, legacy, and power plays on a scale that only WWE can deliver. So now we ask, is this truly the comeback of Seth Rollins? Or is it the rise of something much, much bigger? Is this the moment the wrestling world changes forever? Let us know what you think. Is Seth Rollins faking the injury? Is The Rock returning as a mastermind villain? Is Paul Heyman the grand architect behind it all? Drop your predictions, theories, and reactions in the comments and let's break the internet. If you loved this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss what comes next. Wrestling fans, this is Pink Sport, WHE.